proceeded, just to let me know, here's our presentation, this is what we're looking at. And he gave me copies, so I was able to give a copy to Mr. Hansi, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Bunke also. So my experience with G4 Inc. is that they have been totally honest with me, in my opinion. I really do think so. I just want to state that for the record. Please state your name for the record, please.
Jeff Hefting with G4 Inc., National Sales Manager.
Thank you, sir.
This is Kimberly, my fiance, the owner of the company, actually. And what I want to say to Terry and Scott, they've come down, they've looked at what we do. We've enjoyed talking with those gentlemen. We did ask our attorney to draft the best letter he could for a possible agreement, but then our legal counsel comes back and says, don't sign this. And at that point, it is very difficult for us to go outside what your attorney advises that you do. And again, we didn't come here to watch back and forth with some local business folks. It actually makes me a little uncomfortable. We want to be the new kid on the block. We want to bring some jobs, and we want to work well with our neighbors. If we have product that we can get out at a wholesale level, which we worked with these gentlemen on, and increase their bottom line, I'm all about it. We have a niche program that we worked diligent on for over 2 years, and it is in no way a compete in the industry that these two gentlemen are in. And I appreciate the industry they're in. So on that, gentlemen would be, to me, as a handshake, and I would extend that. Or, as the board, we would take your recommendation on how to deal with this. And that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dahl.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
The products or the materials that you put out, what do they include?
What's that? Our products will be, by the time we launch, we should be pushing into the 2,500 piece mark. And they're all individually. We have developed a process to mass produce one-offs. So if you want to order one-offs, yes, and be able to mass produce those without setup fees, through our software that we wrote and our sales force that we've developed. So, which means there's no walk-ins. We don't have a showroom. It's all driven through our sales force. It's a national level launch. And that's how it operates. We're not in the sign business. Could our equipment make signs? Yes, but we're not in the sign business. We have no sign salespeople. We have no construction force to go put those up. Same with the printing. We're in a one-offs, high margin market, and we're not in a volume arena at all. That's not what we're developed for. We are not interested in becoming high volume and low profit. So again, it's a non-compete. They're very individualized products.
Do you sell as well on the internet, or you work through
Yeah,
contacts that have been developed in the internet?
Yep. We have both internet and a regular sales force. Like on one side of it operates like if you're familiar with the Avon lady, we have a sales force called Creative Consultants that have home parties like Pampered Chef and that help generate the sales off of one side. So that would be one example.
Anything else, sir?
Well, not just yet.
Scott. Please state your name for the record. Thank
Scott, Wondering Printing. I like to keep. I really stress. I really want to stress this, that I am a peace maker, and I mean, the best gift for all of us is to get along, right? And I guess to trust one another. And I know how it is today in life and the economy, and everyone is just, I mean, it's not easy. But, you know, Brandy and I, you know, we lost our jobs. We opened up a little print shop. Everyone was for it. I just want everybody to get along. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Just one last statement. All being said, they feel they're not in the competing markets with us in signage and printing. They feel they don't have a retail or need a retail showroom to operate their business with. My question still is, the agreement's before you, why can't they sign the agreement? And why will they not? Since it's not a non-compete, it's an agreement between us that keeps the playing field, I feel, described, as you will.
I think that might be, if I could,
Go ahead.
I think that might be exactly the point, is if you wish to have an agreement between you, that's something that you should do outside of this body, because sitting on the EDA discussion, led by Roger Metz and Joyce, we as an EDA did not feel that it was in the best interest of the city to get involved in the private business of any of our businesses, of our local businesses. And this might be a little bit unique in that we're offering a loan to a new business in town, but at the same time, everything that we've learned about them, and by your own admission, is non-competing to a point. To a point. Now, if Pam wishes to sell gas to only trucks, you know, and Quick Trip says, okay, we'll take all the cars. That's, you know, if they want to do that, that's up to them. That doesn't affect the EDA necessarily, or the city in its obligation to further business development within the city. So I hope that makes sense.
It would affect if Pam came in and said, I want EDA money to try and put Quick Trip out of business, basically, to do something and put them out of business. And basically, this company it has the same equipment we've got, has bigger sales force, has said they're not going to compete with us, but we need that agreement. And I believe the city needs this agreement, because I believe there's language that hasn't been brought up tonight in the EDA requirements that does state that you cannot grant money to a competing business. My attorney was very clear about that, and he said he's familiar with it, and he says there is potential there, and so it needs to be looked at. And I'm asking you guys, if you guys can't basically, you know, say let's get this agreement signed tonight, then let's put this thing off for another 2 weeks or whatever, so that you can look at this more clearly and everybody has a chance to look at it more clearly, because I believe there is language in the EDA provisions that state that.
Lindy or Joyce?
Mr. Mayor, the council, the items on page 1 of the 13 items address what the responsibility of the EDA to look at are. And these are the items. Now, if someone can find another policy that has additional items, this 13...
It would have to be here in the bylaws of the EDA.
Well, it'd have to be in our loan policy. And I went through the loan policy. These are the 13 items the EDA is charged with, and the city is charged with, making sure they've looked at in terms of the request, the application. And I believe these have, you know, unless they just didn't apply, they have been looked at. And from the discussion that I've heard, I mean, I haven't found anything you didn't do in subcommittee that would have seemed like those were the things you should have been doing. And I know Mr. Lesser has hinted more than once that there's other requirements that you're supposed to weigh those types of things against one business against another. And that is definitely not in the loan policy. And the city attorney has reviewed it and definitely feels it's not in the city's best interest to even go there at all. And they would have